What's up, Yada fam? Today we are gonna be picking some fruits, okay, in our backyard. Here it is.
So, actually, since we moved in here, I've not been coming out to this backyard.
There's
that
another
much.
one right there, babe.
This is something. Where?
Yeah, right there.
Okay. This is
There's
something.
actually 3.
This is something our backyard has to offer. Another item our backyard has to offer. Oranges.
Thanks to Musa Sangari for buying us this orange picker or citrus picker. There's another one right over here.
Just tell me.
If you stand this way, there should be some right there. Yeah, right there. You see it? So we're gonna be picking some fruit and using our juicer for the first time. So, what's up, Yada fam? The topic is supposed to be about love and our cultural difference.
And the good thing is, it's just the two of us at home today. No kids running around, so we get to share a lot of our experiences.
I think the thing is, though, a lot of people tend to look at us as this perfect couple,
Which
but
we're not.
every relationship, married or not, have its own challenges, and just know how to kind of work with their partners, right?
Yes, it has its own challenges. It has its own disagreements and everything alike. I mean, the one good thing we have going is that we are both from West Africa, so cultural-wise, there wasn't too much of a cultural shock. A lot of things, across West Africa,
Like our food.
it's still quite similar. So, I mean, because those are some of the challenges that, people don't talk about in relationships and marriages, like differences and trying to come with your upbringing, your culture, your traditions, and trying to come together as two very distinct people and try to adjust.
Yeah, that's so true. Even though we're both from West Africa, we still have some differences because I'm not only just Liberian, I'm Liberian Mandingo. So that is a whole nother identity as well too that comes into the relationship, because Mandingo traditions and how we go about things is a bit different than typical Liberians.
What was something that, for example, when I met you because when I met you, I got introduced to your culture and I could identify that they do this thing different from how my culture that that I know do it different. So what I'm asking is, what was different in my culture?
Are you talking about
generally, like, what did you notice? I mean, you know the Nigerian culture. I mean, if we're gonna be very quite honest, quite frankly speaking, Nigerian culture is probably the most popular culture in Africa.
Yeah.
And that's just because of our movies. So a lot of our cultures are displayed in like our movies, and the whole of Africa watches Nigerian movies. But for me, I don't know a lot of other African cultures because, like, Africa is a continent. I have met more Africans outside of Africa than in Africa because the whole time we are not interconnected within the continent.
Okay, this is it. I would say a bit of the difference is for us, as I don't know if it's really a Liberian thing or a Mandingo thing. I think it's a little bit of both. But Nigerians, when you meet like your in-laws, it's supposed to be so high of a respect thing, like you're kneeling down, like yes ma, yes sir. But Liberian culture is more so like you're right when they meet you and now you are married to their daughter or their son. You're supposed to be a part of like the joke mate. We have like this joking society. Like that's what I would say. Like Yaya is literally, if you don't even know that that's my dad. On a normal day, if Yaya and my dad are like hanging out and stuff, like you can see a lot of that joking between them, and that's a more of our culture. Whereas Nigerian culture, I feel like when they take respect so high up the chain, is ridiculous. It's like kids are not really able to really joke or have like that kind of a relationship with their parents or like elders. But in the Liberian culture, we'll be like, oh, lema oma, and we'll be joking around and stuff. But it's not really like that. I think that was a cultural kind of
I think
difference.
yes,
Because if I was dating a Liberian man or like I was married to a Liberian or a Mandingo man, it would be easy for him to be able to connect into that. But for Yaya, it took him a minute to like understand because my dad is the one that even brought the joking relationship to you and would joke around, mess around, and like play around with you. You know?
I actually think that is more that situation. It's a cultural shock for you, but it was more of a cultural shock for me.
Yeah.
And by the way, obviously Nigerian culture, there's even levels to this,
Yeah.
right? There are different tribes, different societies with their different culture. I grew up more in the Yoruba culture. So the Yoruba culture is what you were talking about, which they are way extra like respectful. You have to say sama, you have to like kneel, you have to lie down when you greet an elderly person. So definitely, yes, if a Yoruba culture jams a Mandingo culture, it's gonna be
Yeah, a clash.
I'm not Yoruba, but I can say I'm Yoruba by birth because I grew up in the Yoruba region part of Nigeria. So definitely, for me, it was more of a shocker for me, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know it was a shocker for you because when I first met you and I started meeting people from the Mandingo tribe, it was like people call themselves by name. Adama she can call her mom by her name and just call her name. Hey, what you?
And
then they just
in a
like
joking way.
they're always like just joking and and it was like for me for a second I was like, huh. So, and then the other thing, I don't know. I mean, this is just our personal opinions too. So the other thing that was a cultural shock for me was when they had like somebody passes away in the
Oh yeah.
in the Madingo community, and the first time I experienced this, I went there, and to my greatest surprise, and this is okay in the Yoruba culture, typically if you are very old and you pass, it's more of like a celebration of life. But even still with that, I grew up in a culture where when you go there, it's like mourning. People are like crying and stuff like that. When you get to visit, like when you go to meet to show your condolences. But the first time I went to, I think it was a young guy that passed away, uh, probably a teenager, and we went there, and the next thing is people were just talking, like just having like conversations there. Yeah, they came there to show their condolence, but they were just having conversation. There were a group of people already making food. So it typically became like a spot for you guys to go like for the next few days, and you're kind of like, you know, show your condolences with the family and also eat there and just. So for me, because all my life I grew up experiencing that when something like that happens, the culture is like you go there, if you even smile too much, they might suspect that you killed somebody. But there, people are like joking, laughing. So for me, I had to understand that is their own culture, and it doesn't mean that they are there actually, obviously, to show their condolences to the person, and they just look at life as much more simpler. And the person have passed, they're gonna mourn a little. They still mourn, but not necessarily that theatrics that we have in a lot of Nigerian culture. Yeah, somebody passing rolling around on the floor, even when they are old.
I don't know really though if that was more of a cultural shock. It was more of a Mandingo cultural.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It is a Mandingo cultural. You're a Mandingo.
But not Liberian. I don't think Liberian.
No. We are not talking. I'm not talking from a Liberian standpoint now.
Yeah.
I think it's a Mandingo thing.
The Muslim Mandingo.
Yeah, Muslim
Mandingo. You know. So the other thing is right for us till this day. Yeah, and I still fight about this. I kid you not, guys. Like we will literally go toe to toe about this. A major cultural shock, like immediately when we started dating, a cultural shock for him was that it was almost like required that our first kid is named after his dad, or if it's a boy, it's his dad. You know, my mom, his mom. Like we're supposed to name our parents our first set of kids, right? And I had explained that like way before we could even get married.
You didn't explain that way before we get married. Well, maybe you explained, but I also explained myself. There was never like an agreement. Go ahead though.
But I'm not talking about there being an agreement. I'm saying we're talking about a cultural difference, and that was a cultural difference. And I had spoke to you about it before we could even get married. Did we not have the conversation before we could get married?
Yes, but the conversation, because we had a conversation.
Yeah, but we haven't gotten to that point yet.
Okay.
We're just talking about what was a cultural difference. See, there we go. We're already having the disagreement. We're already having this topic, guys. Is really something. This topic really bothers me. Okay, so for us it was a cultural difference, especially for him, because within the Mandingo culture, when you have your kids, as a sign of respect to your parents and to honor your parents, you're supposed to name your parents. Rather it be our first son is supposed to be his dad, or he could choose to do my dad. If it's a girl, it could be his mom, or he could choose for it to be my mom. It's just a sign of respect and to honor your parents. Till this day, we fight about it. And we've been together for 10 years. So, what was your viewpoint on that whole thing?
So, I mean, my viewpoint from it is that, again, it's also a cultural thing that I think I grew up in a. It's not like my family or my parents ever told me that, oh no, when you grow up, you have to make this decision. But I just saw in my society. So that's like societal community. Like majority, I mean, there are still people that do not. Majority of people in Nigeria, the man makes the decision of what the name of the kids.
But I don't think it's only just a Nigeria thing. I think it's all over the world.
Yeah, a lot of.
I think it's all a good part of the world that do that. Men typically do, decide the children's name, but also too, I think it's in respect and consideration of their wives or the woman's opinion.
And so, yes, we had a first son, and for me, I thought I was going to name all my kids, and, with an agreement with that we're going to talk about it. It's a name we come up together and we both like. I think I actually showed respect there, to be honest with you, as long as, even if I bring up a name, if she doesn't like it, then we go back to the drawing table again. So for me, because I feel like one of the biggest arguments, and for the first time in these videos, when I just thought about something, I think the idea has never been me naming actually. Because I did come up with other names, and it was rejected, and I'm like, fine, then we'll find another name. So for me, I've actually been open to the name. Even though I come up with it, is still approved by the boss lady here. So yeah, we had our first son,
Not the boss.
Kareem. So that was not too difficult. I had him. In my culture, my parents don't even care if I name after them, because it's really not in my culture to say, oh, you must name, I must name my child after my dad or my mom or my relative and stuff like that. Well, it's a different thing if I actually really truly like the name and I like the meaning of the name, rather than me having to name them because I'm doing it out of a cultural requirement or like a respect. It doesn't really, they don't care, they don't care. But obviously, the first name of my son, Kareem, was a name that I told was a name that my mom wanted to name me when I was younger. From the stories, my parents had a disagreement too. Before they named me my name, they wanted to name me Kareem. So I just decided to name, and I actually checked with her.
And I think more than anything, I really approved it 100%.
I'm like, cool, let's go. But if she had disapproved, I would have said, okay, fine, let's go back to the drawing board until we find something we like.
Yeah. For me, the name Abdul Kareem, like, even before I could have our first son, like, it was, my mother-in-law and I talked about it. I told her that our first son name would be Abdul Kareem. And, that was our first son. That's his first seed. So I know for men it's really important, naming your child, because that's your first ever child. So, like, definitely, I was even more of a support about it. It wasn't even a discussion. Full on, before we could even have the baby, we're like, our first son name is Abdul Kareem, right? Yes. So that was easy. But easy. Even with that, I, like, during that pregnancy process and stuff, I still did bring in my tradition, which is, the first child or any children, it could be his dad or it could be my dad, out of respect,
Yeah. So, I mean, this is like a forever disagreement and argument. So I don't know, do any of you guys leave in the comment section if you're actually having, if you've ever faced issues like this, or or if you've ever thought about, if you don't have a child yet or you're not married yet, have you ever thought about issues that can come up with child naming? Because trust me, that is not just us. I'm sure a lot of people have had issues about naming a child. Now, she wanted me to name the child. I think you actually, if you had a chance, really, you would have wanted us to name the first child, really.
I would.
If we had.
Yeah.
Because at that time,
But
we were already
actually respect
suggesting,
you.
and for me, I was anticipating that I wanted to name my kids other names that I like. You know, as a young boy growing up, I had all these boys' name or the ones I don't like. I had names that I wanted to name my son. So when I had Kareem, when we had the second boy,
The conversation came up
the
again.
conversation came up again. And at that time, for me, I had already compromised. I thought me compromising. I mean, by the way, you guys tell me what you think too.
Tell us
Is it
what you think.
appropriate, like our last name, I accepted because I thought I was compromising so that I can keep her away from wanting me to name my other son
My dad or
our
my
dad's
mom.
name or the dad or the mom's name. So the first son, I made their middle name our last name. That is typically something unheard of in Nigerian African culture, or like in my culture. Like I actually named my son's middle name is our last name, not just the first one. The second one too, I did the same thing because I thought I was doing that so that at least she can see that I'm making a little effort towards us not having disagreements about me wanting to name their first name something that I really wanted and I liked.
Okay, but guys, okay. So before he could even agree to name, have the kid's middle name be my last name, I literally explained to him why I thought it would be beneficial. I didn't just tell him, oh, name the kids this middle name because I wanted to be like that. I explained to him Kamara is a well-known name in most West African countries, Mali, Senegal, Guinea, Liberia, Ivory Coast, a lot of West African countries. And we're into business, right? And we don't know where life is going to take our kids. We don't know they're going to go into business ventures of their own. I'm hoping at some point along the line in the future that our kids are going to be interested in going back to Africa and doing amazing things like having business opportunities, nonprofit, whatever that looks like for them. And being that Kamara is such a well-known name in most West African countries, I thought that could be something that could be a plus for them because this is the thing. With we Mandingos, with that have our last names, Kamaras, whatever it is, whenever we see or we hear that, hey, this person's last name is Kamara or Donzo or Keita or whatever it is, naturally we just want to cling onto that person because like, hey, you're my brother. Even if you and the person don't even have direct bloodline. That's a thing within the Mandingo culture. We definitely want to identify with that person because we feel like, hey, this is my brother from another mother. You know, well, so that's what I had explained, and he understood, and he was like, okay.
I understood that. I understood what she was saying, but to be honest with you, that wasn't still enough reason for me to accept that. I mainly actually accept that because I thought I was compromising and still giving her something, so that I can just keep my sons the first name that I really wanted. Even if I had 10 sons, I had names that I wanted to name them. So
no, he didn't. He did not.
I don't have it on ground, but I always I know what the names are like. You don't want me to explicitly say what I like or don't like, but I knew that and to be honest with you, I do agree, and that was also a little convincing point you made that kind of like made me further accepted it. But to be honest with you, I did not want to make your last name my kid's middle name. Trust me.
Okay, well, babe, I appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, my honey.
It happened anyway, so.
Thank you, my honey plum plum.
Now to the third boy. That also cost.
No, the second boy.
The second boy.
The second boy, what did we get? So Kareem's name came from him. The second boy, Kamal's name.
Kamal's name.
It came from your sister.
Okay.
Your sister suggested.
That's the other issue we're facing because she's always trying to use it that, oh, it's a name that your sister gave. But no, that's not the case. Yes, my sister suggested, but my sister did not name him.
Right.
There's a different thing.
I didn't say she named him.
No, but
we agreed.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you always use that against me when we are talking about your sister name. You've said that.
No, what I've said is that the two names are two first boys' names come from his side. Neither me or my family have interjected or have enforced a name.
There's nothing like the two names came from my side. the middle middle child right now, Kamal's name could have been from your side.
It's true.
Because the way the name came, I had names. I told you some of the names I wanted, and you rejected. So we were still.
Kadriu.
There's Kadri. There was Malik. Wanted Malik too, and so you rejected both. So we were talking, and we were on the dining table, and my sister mentioned the name, and we're like, "Well, okay, yeah, that name is cool. Let's check it up." Read meaning into it. The meaning made sense.
And I didn't think it was a bad name.
The name was nice. You liked it.
Of
so that's
all the
how
he was suggesting.
So technically, we named him, and it was just a suggestion that somebody threw out there. So you should stop saying that. Oh, the two names came from my side, and then you want to use that.
No,
to
but
say,
it's true.
You already got
Guys,
two people
what
with
happened?
the names on my side. Then I can't get one.
Came from his mom wanting to name him Kareem, and Kamal came from a suggestion that his sister made, not from my sister.
No, my mom
or my
did not want to
family.
name Kareem.
I said you. Okay. Your mom wanted to name you Abdul Kareem.
Yes. So it wasn't for
guys. This topic is a forever thing. Like, I kid you not. I think this is even therapy for us because we have literally fought. I know you guys are like, really? You guys don't have any other things to fight about? Yes, we don't have any other things to fight about YouTube. We are shameless, okay? We're bringing our fight to YouTube, okay?
Well, we just wanted to, make this video to show that, I mean, this is one actually true disagreement.
It really is. Behind the camera is serious.
Yeah, we've never been able to really, even
agree.
after, so
agree to disagree.
We had the third child, and I was practically...
And my whole pregnancy, I was just
So it was a very difficult situation.
And I think he wasn't even mad when they said it was a boy. When we did...
Yeah, guys. I was really... So to avoid the problems... Because after the second boy, and I still didn't name, I was praying to God to have a girl child for the third child. I was like hoping it was a girl so that at least I can be free of the headache. But guess what? It was a boy again.
See, God, guys, wasn't that destined by God that we were not going to move on and have another sex child without him naming my dad? That's pretty much what happened.
So the boy came, and I guess eventually...
It's so hard.
I ended up, being a loving, amazing husband that I am. I ended up saying, you know what, baby? You are the one pushing the baby. Let me just give you I am just the donor. And you're the one that carried the baby, and you're going to push it out. Please, can you take this one and name this one? I was like, I pleaded with her to let name the third.
I pleaded with him. I kneeled down. I begged him. Okay. I begged his family. I like literally, it was a family intervention. He did not do none of that. But all in all, named.
All in all, I finally succumbed.
But say how you did it, though. Say how you did it.
Yeah, at the hospital.
I didn't even know.
To be honest, because down to the hospital to give him birth, it was still a problem. It was still an argument on the third child.
It was.
But this time the problem was stronger. So I'm like, you know what? When it was time to, how they bring the paper at the hospital and you have to like write and sign and write the baby's name and stuff. So they brought the paper. To be honest, that was when I actually made
think that's another, I think it's a cultural shock a little bit. I don't know if it's a cultural shock, but America versus Africa. In Africa, you name your baby after the 7 days.
No, here.
But you have to name in the hospital.
In the hospital
before you leave.
They'll just call your child baby boy or baby girl.
Yeah.
So in that spot was the moment I looked at it and I'm like, damn, will I be able to sustain the kind of pressure that will be on my life if I don't write the name that she wants on this birth certificate?
Not that I pressured you, babe.
Okay, it wasn't all that it was a pressure. It was a pressure. So I said, you know what? I don't think I'll be able to like survive the house. They might just poison me when I'm sleeping or something.
Babe!
I have to just write the name that she wanted on the birth certificate, and I just left it there. I think, did I tell you to?
No, he didn't tell me.
I didn't even tell her.
He didn't tell me.
I didn't tell her what it was.
I think my American mother-in-law came to the hospital to see the baby, and she was like, oh, what's the baby's name? I'm like, I don't know what's the baby's name. And then she asked us, like, what's the baby's
thing
name?
too, we forget. Like throughout the entire pregnancy, we had people asking.
Everybody was asking, what's the baby's name? What's the baby's name? I'm like, I don't know.
There was no agreement. We can't even say. When they ask, I don't even want to say anything because every time I say something, we get in an argument.
We get into an argument.
So at some point, I think during the second trimester, anybody ask us, we were like,
it was bad. It was really
down to the day. That was the day I actually made a decision. Right there, after the baby had actually come out, I'm like, you know what? I don't think.
Okay, let me ask you. Did you feel a little sorry for me after having the baby?
Yeah, I think a little sorry was there. And that's why it happened after the fact. I think it was a little sorry, the crying, there was a lot going on, the emotional stuff. And then I'm like, I can't just sit there and be such a horrible husband. I had to.
That is not what happened.
I had to just like be that caring, supportive, because after all, I didn't push the baby. I mean, right, guys? I didn't push the baby.
Guys, that was not that simple.
She did all the job. And I had to just let her get what she wants. And so she got what she wants, but we still argue about it.
We still argue about it.
Because even though I agreed, she still wants me to feel a different way. And that she can never change. You say, yes, I agreed to name. And I think probably I would change over years, over time. I'll probably say that, okay, maybe I want to, adjust. But all in all, it was I love all my kids' names now. I love the names, but those arguments, I don't know when it will end.
Yeah, but guys, we want you guys to go ahead and comment if you're in any interracial or intercultural relationship or marriage, or even just being in a relationship or a marriage period. What are some of the challenges that you guys go through, and things that we can learn from it, or you feel you have learned from even our differences and our challenges?
Definitely. Okay. And if you actually enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, so that more people can see this. Subscribe, turn on the post notification, and share, share, and let's spread the Yada family. Because we are here to give you guys some amazing content.
Yes.
With more. So you guys stay tuned for more videos coming, and we love and appreciate you guys. Yada, yada.
Bam, bam.
Yada, yada.
Bam, bam.
We out.
Bye, guys.